BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed ahoy, ahoy. Welcome, one and all, to episode 635 of BRB UK. I'm Dan. I'm one of your hosts. Good day, everybody. It's the beginning of the summer, it feels like in the UK. I'm saying that because it's gone above 25 degrees and everyone is dying of heat exhaustion as far as I can see. It's sweaty. It's sweaty. Joining me, talking of sweaty, here's a man who likes being moist. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just going to continue anyway. It's Coleman, you moist whippet you. How are you doing?
It's not sweat, I just use a finishing spray after my moisturising. I'm just happy to be here, Dan. Thank you for having me. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for having me on the show.
Really?
Yes.
That's quite all right. Yeah.
Took time out my busy day to come and record some BRB
what was
UK.
happening in your busy schedule? What was happening? What did you interrupt doing?
Classified petrol station stuff.
Classified petrol station. Had you mixed up the 97 with the 95 octane again?
I used the red by accident again. I put it all. Put red petrol in a moped.
Whoa! Mad lad.
Mad savings.
Mad bike grab thoughts hammer.
Yeah. Well, it's the dedication we have, Dan, where we may get better offers of things to do on a Thursday, but we say no. We want to entertain our audience and talk about some video games.
Having a sleep.
we are very dedicated to the audience.
We are dedicated.
Anyway, isn't that right, Tim? Tim?
Where are you? Tim.
Tim's away. Football, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought football was done for the year. I honestly think football was done. Is it not done yet?
The football will never be done.
It should be.
Watch the
pretty
ball.
Tedious. Right.
It's going to move.
Okay. People will score net points. All the excitement will happen. Okay, we'll give Tim doing football things, but we're here to talk about video games, and my lordy goodness, what a humdinger of a video game we have had to play this week and talk about. Well, I have played not as much of it as I would like for reasons that I will get into. Not personal super secret Dan stuff, but technical problem issues.
Oh, broadband?
But no, I've coaxed the broadband down from the internet pole. It is now nestled. It is like the dove from above. It is the net from up to, I can't, nothing really rhymes or alliterates with it. But anyway, so the internet is down from its pole. I've got it plumbed into Gibbo Manor. But sadly, this is technical issues. And the game we're talking about is Clair Obscur, Expédition 33, or Trente-Trois, I do believe we should call it.
Trente-Trois. Clair Obscur. Expédition Trente-Trois.
So, if you've been living under a rock and have missed the hype, this is a game put together by these days what's considered a small studio, i.e. about 30, 40 employees, that's very much kind of in a JRPG mode without actually being from Japan. I think this has been an absolutely wonderful experience so far. The whole internet is going absolutely insane for it, and with good reason. So, the setup of this is Cataclysm happened about...
Cataclysm.
Cataclysm happened a good 67 years ago. And every year since that cataclysm has happened, there's been kind of the whole of the human race has been on a countdown, one every year. And every year they send an expedition to try and stop the inevitability of badness happening. And by the
Paintress.
The Paintress. She is the architect of all of the badness. And everyone's French for some reason. Not quite sure why everyone's French yet, but it does mean that it's got a very beautiful kind of neo-Renaissance styling to it. It's definitely a massive nod towards JRPGs, but to me, avoids some of the cringe. It's got a fantastic, we'll get into all the details, obviously, but it's got kind of a fantastic turn-based battle system that still gets a little bit of interactivity going, so it's not just watching bars fill up and pressing buttons once every blue moon. It's a great game. I'm absolutely loving it, I have to say. And I'm playing it on PC, which might be why I'm getting technical gremlins that tend to happen at the end of long boss
But you
fights.
own a Series X.
I do, but it's in a box. My Xbox is in a box.
Xbox.
An Xbox. No, it's my Xbox is in a current box. The current box it's not in. I haven't removed the Xbox from the box and made that current box an Xbox. So unfortunately, my Xbox is still in a current box, but there is no Xbox in which my Xbox was once in.
Dan?
That clear? Good. Marvellous. I thought it was. Boxception. That's right.
Xbox box. Xbox box.
Xbox box.
Anyway, yeah, I'm playing on Xbox Series X, and
right.
I don't know if you've watched like the Digital Foundry stuff. It runs well on consoles, but there is a fair bit of blurriness, fuzziness. Character models look a little bit fuzzy, but not as bad as some of the much larger games that have been released over the years. I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm looking at you, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm looking at you, Star Wars Outlaws, which is still a fantastic game. But you can see there is a difference between console and PC when you can look at the kind of graphical full everything thrown in on PC compared to the Xbox Series X or the PS5 or PS5 Pro. You get a solid 30 with a couple of dips on the more intensive things, with the character models being a little fuzzed and the backgrounds, having a little bit of more noticeability to them compared to what it's like on the. Bit more noticeable that it's not as big as the graphics mode. The graphics mode that stays at a solid 30 pretty much throughout by the looks of it, and also. The models are a little bit lower. The backgrounds look much nicer. It's more like shadows and rendering that are more noticeable than everything else.
So on the series, because so this game runs in, I think it's the latest version of Unreal Engine, and I've been blown away just
5, yeah,
how beautiful it looks. I'm running it on high settings. I know, get me in the posh seats.
Whoa!
I know on a RTX 3080. I'm quite comfortably hitting 60 frames a second all the time, and it is absolutely, obviously it changes the rendering mode when you go into cutscenes, it adds some more visual bells and whistles, but it's a fantastically pretty game. And the art direction, aside from like the graphical prowess, the art direction is just absolutely bang on for this game. It looks fantastic. It really, really does.
It is good. And you mentioned the kind of, it does seem to take some nods from JRPGs, but it's without the cringiness. And I think the kind of cringiness of RPGs on our side, partly it's our age most likely, but I think that partly comes from cultural differences, but also localization changes kind of add to that cringe. With this one, it's interesting because these are French developers, right? The ex-Ubisoft devs that have got together to create this studio and this game. And I was thinking, because I was watching this and the lip syncing's quite off with this game, and I was thinking that there might be a native French version that improves that, and no, there isn't. So, although the game is very French, the voice acting is very English, including one Charlie Cox, he of Daredevil and Stardust, being the main actor.
And there's an Andy Serkis in there somewhere as well, apparently.
Love an Andy Serkis.
We do love an Andy Serkis.
I remember him being in the marketing, and then when we were going through all the characters and introductions, I was like, I wonder when Andy Serkis popping up. It was like, an old grizzled man who looks like Andy Serkis. I wonder if this is
That'll
him.
be Andy Serkis then. Aside from clearly the person whose job it was to do facial animation, just putting mouths into random number generators, going, "Oh, Beth, it will do." The stupid English, they will not know.
English pig dogs.
English. No. There we go. Pig dogs is a very different, opposite side of that particular 1940s coin.
What they call us.
Yes, they do. The roast beef. The roast beef, they will not know.
My favourite insult.
What roast beef? Being called roast beef.
Being called roast beef by the French is like, okay.
No, I have I'm suitably white and middle class enough to be gammon. Get it right.
I think that's our insult. But yeah, it's interesting.
But it does, and the voice acting, I have to say, certainly all the bits I've played so far has been absolutely top notch. It's not phoned in at all.
Top notch.
And, you know, I think sometimes that's one of the other things why I approached this with trepidation, knowing it was a bit of a love letter to JRPGs. I was like, is it going to be so faithful that it's going to be a little bit phoned in from the voice acting perspective, a little bit cringy and clunky, the dialogue? But by and large, no. I mean, I think it's obviously the original script is written in French, so there is some stuff in translation. And then there's lots of random swearing in French as well, which...
yeah, that was weird because they swear in French first. And I went, oh, that's a clever
and then
way
swear
of
in
not-
English.
Like, yeah, and then immediately, like the next sentence, just drop an F-bomb. I'm like, okay.
Okay, so
I
we're
don't
just
understand the point.
multilingual swearing is what we're doing.
I thought they were doing the Firefly thing where, you know, in Firefly, the dominant species, dominant race is Chinese. So everyone kind of swears in Chinese, which I find very funny. I thought they were doing that with French. And then immediately it was like, no, there you go.
Yep. So, yeah, that's a bit right. At least they haven't gone like full Faulty Towers or, you know, Fools and Horses. Monge 2, Rodders?
Monge 2.
Monge 2.
That'd have been good.
Which
Chanel number 5.
Which would have been fantastic.
Cul-de-sac.
Yes. Petit Beurre. Little Butter. Don't know why. Little Butter. Petit Beurre. Anyway, où est la plage? C'est ici, oui.
Anyway, that's
my GCSE French.
The game itself, interesting story. So much so, I was telling someone at work about this story, and then someone else walked in while I was partway through explaining, and they went, "What film is this? Sounds amazing." But it's the idea where we're in a kind of sort of semi-post-apocalyptic Paris, where a big thing's happened. There's an outsider Paris where this mysterious person called the Paintress has appeared, and they've written the number 100, and not many people have realized why, but people that use 100 suddenly disappear, and they set off an expedition called Expedition Zero to go and figure out why this has happened. And then over the years, the number keeps going down, that age keeps disappearing, more expeditions go out to try and stop the Huntress, kill the Huntress, like figure out what's happening, so on and so forth. So we enter on the beginning of the number gets changed to 33, so Expedition 33, hence the name, goes out to find out what's going on with the Huntress, led by a man who sounds like Charlie Cox and looks like Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
Very odd. And then you all go off, and your expedition is quite a fair few people, but something happens, and you end up with just the 4 of you, the Charlie Cox character, and a younger adopted sister, a woman with magic powers, and a woman with a scythe.
Yes.
And hilarity ensues. No,
well not hilarity. Yes. Yeah, awesomeness ensues. I think it is a fair way to. And it's kind of there's almost like kind of some slight Dali-esque influences in the art direction, where it's kind of like it's within touching distance of things feeling real, but it's kind of like everything's like floating or melted or just kind of very, and it's a really great style. It's not, and when you, I think in the initial bit of it where it's all kind of in, you know, post-apocalyptic Paris, you think, it could be a little bit drab, all of this, but actually the color palette is really vivid once you get out and about in kind of the true open world. The enemy design and character design just generally is fantastic. It's you know, it looks like really nothing else that's out there at the moment. The one thing I would say is that it could do a slightly better job sometimes of perhaps signaling, you know, what's interactive in the environment. I did in the initial bit got a little bit frustrated with that, where I was wandering around in circles, getting my butt handed to me by very overleveled enemies, only to find that I'd completely missed where the grapple points were, which would have been what I needed to do.
And that's the interesting thing, because like the combat system, when it opens up, it does that weird, bizarre. It's turn-based combat, but it does that menu kind of like Persona, where it's kind of exploded out. But then the combat consists of a physical attack, a magic attack, a dodge, and a parry. And with a lot of different characters, they have different kind of battle actions that you've got to get used to before you can parry them. But you want to parry them because you deal a big amount of damage back to them, especially in some cases, ones where you absorb damage and then throw it back. But it's more the dodge is more generous than the actual parry. So for a lot of cases, you'll find a new character that you've not gone up against. You're not used to their attacks, so you dodge to begin with before you get used to them, and then parry. And I had that moment of I went the wrong way off the map and fought the high level thing, and it barely grazed them, but managed to parry every single one of their attacks. I was like, I wonder how long I can keep this going for. Could I just get an insane amount of XP from just battering this super high level character? And it was just parry, 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 parry. Oh, this is fun. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, I've got a single attack that will just take you all down in one hit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that was the end of that game. Let's actually
So was that the one off to the right in the starting area?
Possibly. I was off on the map and I just went off on my merry little way, and
that's what I did.
Came against a high level thing.
I ended up fighting a mime who was a right bell
Yes, you said about the mime.
But I did defeat the mime, and I've now got a top with a sweet baguette attached to it. It's all pretty awesome. I know. I love it. Stereotypes. But I mean, just coming back to the combat mechanics, because as you rightly say, it's kind of a heavy nod to kind of more of the latter day Final Fantasy games, where it's whilst it's turn-based, there are kind of some more interactive elements to it. And I actually really enjoy it. I mean, I'm still getting my head around the timing of the parries and stuff, especially when you face new enemies. And the way it mixes it up is they can either attack slowly or quickly or somewhere in between, which completely, alters the timing that you have to be aware of. I do find that, so there's kind of obviously that timing with the incoming attacks, but with your outgoing attacks as well, certainly some of the more advanced abilities, there are kind of like there's mini quick time events essentially. So if you absolutely get them all perfect, then you deal extra damage, for example. I think the UI elements could be a bit clearer as in terms of when that perfect window is. But once you get the hang of it, it is really kind of makes it feel a lot more engaging, a lot more active, that kind of battle system. Rather than you just kind of pressing buttons, twiddling your thumbs while the animations play out. So I really like it. And you can also get the first attack bonus by interactive means as well. While you're wandering around, you can see the enemies, and if they see you, they'll trundle up towards you. But you can actually do a kind of a mini attack as they approach you, which will give you a bonus for first hit. So, or a sneak attack. It's really nice. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, that attacks is kind of commonplace for RPG since Final Fantasy 13, I want to say. So 360 days. But it's done so well. I would say this is probably my favorite RPG I've played since Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
Yes, it's very, very good.
It's that good, and it's rightly taking the internet by storm. It's doing so well. Even though it's a Game Pass day one release, they seem to be doing really well on their PC sales, on their PlayStation sales, which is great for them, because I'm assuming if you get the Game Pass downloads at such a high number, there's a little bonus there for you in some form or another. But to get actual physical sales on top of that, that's absolutely brilliant for them. I'm very happy for them, because it's very well deserved.
Yeah, and it's just nice to see that a smaller studio can still, with the can still
with the right backing,
with the right backing and very large checkbooks associated to said backing, can still go toe to toe with some of the bigger studios and be a bit more nimble and deliver something that's a bit more innovative, I think. So I mean, I was prepared for this game to be an absolute cringe fest for me, but I'm really, really loving it. Aside from some of the technical issues that I've been experiencing. So I've had quite a few crashes on PC, and I don't know how many others have, but the timing seems to be at the end of a boss fight. I get the Unreal Engine crashes, and the first big boss you face, I'm sure you probably know the one I'm on about.
Mm-hmm.
Big old fighty ding dong with them, that I was like, yes, finally, I managed to, get all my timing right, managed to get good strategy, managed to kind of parry and dodge and feel like I was actually had reflexes, which was a pleasant surprise for me, bearing in mind I'm in my mid-40s. Only for the game to crash and for me to lose all that progress.
And then start again.
Yeah.
Bans me with Bloodborne back in the day.
Yeah.
So annoying.
And you know, I'm hoping that with patches to the game and maybe some updates to NVIDIA drivers, which have been janky as whatnot recently, that may go away. So that has been the only thing that's taken the sheen off it a little bit. But despite that, I'm still absolutely loving this game, and I look forward to devoting quite a chunk of my bank holiday weekend to it, I think.
Now, I wouldn't recommend it because you do lose a lot of detail for doing so, but apparently this does play well on a handheld. What handheld, I'm not sure. But if you stick it on 720 and keep it at 30, then apparently it plays surprisingly well on a handheld. But you're going to lose a lot of detail that you would get on the console or the PC.
Okay.
So
I suppose if you were just grinding in late game for items and XP, that's probably doable. But
yeah. Apparently, if you get like the more powerful version of the Rogue Ally, that's the one to be playing on.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I
would recommend to you, Dan, if you can get your Xbox out of storage and get it ready, just stick it on the X and then play it on performance. Right. And then once the patches have come out, you can shift your cloud save over.
Ooh, look at you with the power of the cloud.
Well, I mean, it's a really good game, and I'd hate for you to miss out due to technical issues.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that it will sort itself out. But we'll see. If that does a couple more times, then you're right. Maybe I just skip on over to the X and get stuck in that way. But no, I think it's worth the money for a month of Game Pass. I think that's the way to do it.
It's worth the money for the game.
It's worth money for the game. Whatever you want to do, but it's you can't go wrong with this game. If you even only vaguely like RPGs, you are gonna love it. There's a lot of kind of great mechanics that are really, really kind of intricate. Yeah, they're easy to get in on the ground floor, but become more intricate the more time you put into them. That I think are really gonna help with like build character builds and make them really play and feel like you'd want them to, rather than just kind of being generic hacky slashy characters, which sometimes happens. But I'm really loving it. Can't recommend it highly enough.
I would have been playing this more using the when we were talking about Oblivion last week, and I was playing that on cloud streaming on the Steam Deck. I'd have been carrying on with that. I tried it once. I went, nope, my timing is way off on streaming this. So, and that is something you really can't do with this game. You need your timings for the combat in the game. But yes, it is a recommend. We don't want to go too far into the story because it's very easy to spoil stuff in this game, and it's such a good story as well. I mean, personally, I found this to be a very good story. A lot of people seem to find this to be a very good story. I'm looking forward to, because I've heard there's some things that come up that I'm not expecting, and it's just going to completely blow your mind as it goes further in. So I'm looking forward to all that stuff. As I was looking forward to it because it's interesting. It's a new studio. It's a new property. It's all stuff that I want. And as we were approaching further and the reviews started coming out, there's a streamer that I watch, Luke Stevenson. Yeah, he's hard to please with a lot of games, and he just put the title Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a masterpiece. I'm sold. If it wasn't on Game Pass, I would have bought it. That is a ringing endorsement. But this is on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S. You can buy it for $41.99 on PC, $44.99 on console, and of course, available day one, Game Pass Ultimate.
Can confirm it is.
Can confirm.
It's there. That's how I'm playing it.
It's there. Yeah, I'm also.
It's there.
I'm doing it on Game Pass also. The man called Rick's, he's picked up a PlayStation 5 copy. And I did say, why didn't you get this on Game Pass? You know, it's on Game Pass. I'll let you use my Game Pass if you want. I was looking into Family Share. Well, it's a new studio, and I like the look of what they're doing, and I want to support that, so I give them full money. Like, yeah, fair enough.
For you, Rick.
Stand by your morals.
Mm-hmm.
Man called Rick. We approve.
Yes, well done, Rick.
Go watch.
Go be Rick.
Yes. Yeah. Be more Rick.
Be more Rick. So Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Well worth
most
checking out.
Square Enix game to not come from Square Enix.
Square Enix, yeah. The most Japanese game not to come out of Japan in a long while.
Exactly that. Right. Should we talk some news?
Let's talk some news. It's going to be the usual exciting and uplifting set of stories that I've come to love. Hit me with it, Coleman.
Oh, sorry, Dan. I'm so sorry.
What?
So EA, they started us off this week by saying, hey, we unfortunately we have to lay off around 300 employees across multiple departments, including approximately 100 employees at Respawn Entertainment, and that's going to affect people that are developing, publishing QA roles with significant impact on teams working on Apex Legends, the Jedi franchise, and also 2 cancelled projects, one of them reportedly being a Titanfall game. Although I did hear, well, apparently I heard it's because Apex is technically a Titanfall game. It's in the same universe. So apparently it was an extraction shooter. So a lot of people went, oh no, not a Titanfall game. Oh, it was an extraction shooter. Never mind, carry on.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's not fine that people were laid off.
Not great people lose their jobs, but, you know, we know what we want.
I think we can all do without another extraction shooter. Or talking of which, apparently, Marathon, very lukewarm reviews. I haven't sunk any time into the alphas or betas for that at the moment, but it's, it just looks like extraction shooters just seem like games that are designed to just stress me out, and I can't be bothered with them.
I heard if you liked Apex when it launched, then Respawn might be the game for you.
Or Marathon, rather.
Sorry, Marathon might be the game for you. Sorry, I've got Respawn on the brain because we're just talking about them. And
I have no reflexes or skill in first-person games.
I liked the Ghost Recon one that everyone hated, the one that was Contagion, and then they changed the name to Extraction or something. I think it was Extraction. I enjoyed that one, where you turn people into Rice Krispie treats and take them away and shoot aliens. That was fun. I think they were aliens or bioweapons. It's been a while since we played it. So this one this was announced today. First of all, the layoffs are also the Codemasters guys. They came out because they were not long ago acquired by EA. I want to say 2-3 years ago acquired by EA.
They wanted the F1 franchise, didn't they? I think is what they were after,
and they were doing.
Bring that in.
They do Grid as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were working on a new Grid game, and now they've been told to shelf any development on the Grid series going forward while there's layoffs at Codemasters. Yeah, not a good week for EA. Not a good look for EA. Just when we were getting so strong with the split fiction, and then all of a sudden, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Another game that never really gets a good look thanks to certain people that are in charge of it, but Borderlands 4. I don't know if you saw the Borderlands 4 State of Play, Dan.
I did. I saw that, and man, that's some Borderlands arse-looking Borderlands.
I didn't say that. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
What shirt did Randy Pitchford have on?
To be honest, I try and just block him out of my memory whenever he appears on YouTube, to be honest with you.
Was it the blue and purple magician shirt with the big collars, cuffs?
No, I think it was kind of a brownie, reddy, patterny thing.
Oh, that's not as fun. I like when he's wearing the exact same shirt and everything.
So he's finally been able to buy a new shirt, I think is the headline news. The Borderlands 4 stuff, it's the usual, guess what? Vault hunting. Yeah, there's 4 new Vault Hunters, all of which have, a set of unique abilities, blah, blah, blah. It looks like from what they've said, they've done some rebalancing for how loot works, which should make it all feel a bit more fun and worth the grind. I think one of the problems with Borderlands 3 is that it just threw the best loot at you pretty much instantly and all the way through the game, which kind of cheapened all the loot and, kind of took that kind of chasing the unicorn, as it were, the unicorn gun away from the
Stallion.
The gameplay. Yeah, Butt Stallion. The gameplay loop. I mean, they dipped a little bit into some of the story as well. There was no signs of the mega annoying antagonists from Borderlands 3, which those two are the sole... actually, a number of the characters in Borderlands 3. The game
Weren't they meant to be like... Were they meant to be Pandora's answer to Twitch streamers?
There's a lot of very annoying characters in Borderlands 3, and I'm hoping they get that a bit better with Borderlands 4. Both Kev and I agree the way to play Borderlands 3 is to just mute it, because everything is, quite frankly, very annoying. But it looks like, strangely, Go for it.
Sorry, I was just going to say, and then after Borderlands 3, because we had the revisit to Tales of the Borderlands, but it was not Telltale; it was done in house, and that game, marred by technical issues, but I still really, really enjoyed it. But there was some very cringy humor in there. Like they do a whole chapter on what's the American Dragon's Den? Shark Tank. They basically do Shark Tank, but if you lose at Shark Tank, you get put in a shark tank and fed to a shark. I'm like, wow, that's some 2007 comedy there.
Thanks, well done. GG Gearbox. But yeah, I don't know. It funnily enough looks like they've taken some leaves out of Destiny's book, strangely, in terms of kind of, making it a lot more about vertical movement and repositioning around the environment, having, abilities that kind of really lean into that, being able to kind of have floaty jumps, looking at you, Warlock mains.
Yay! Where my Warlocks at?
And it's it looks like Borderlands. It's more Borderlands. If you like Borderlands, you're probably gonna like Borderlands 4, I guess. Is it? It's very difficult. I probably it'll do well for itself, I'm sure. But yeah, I can't see there being anything groundbreaking, particularly here.
Okay,
but it might be fun.
But
sorry,
the point I brought this up and completely forgot. Again, the heat is affecting me today. So Gearbox announced Borderlands.
That's not the warmth. It's just he's very, very randy. He's in heat at the moment. Is what Coleman is. He is in heat. He can't concentrate.
Much like Randy Pitchford all year round. But yes, Gearbox announced that Borderlands 4 is going to release earlier than planned. It was originally coming out on September the 23rd. That's been pushed forward to September the 12th. And this
it's not that much earlier, is it?
Yeah, but it's set because there's a lot of people in quite a fervor about GTA 6. When's GTA 6 coming out? We want to know about GTA 6. Want to know about GTA 6?
No,
no. Because 2K, they've gone, hey, maybe they're moving it forwards because it's going to clash too much with GTA 6. I don't think that's enough of a move forward to not clash with it. I think that they might be trying to avoid later launches and get ahead of stuff, but at the same time, it's ready. It's ready. And also, this game was announced early because they went, everyone ignore the film. Look, the game's back, everyone.
Look at the shiny.
Like this whole game has been, how much earlier can we show things off than we're meant to?
It's been quite impressive how they buried that film, I have to say.
I still haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it either.
I've had it on VOD for a very long time. I just still have not watched it. I've wanted to like bad night drinky type thing.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be bad movie drinky fodder, but I can't quite bring myself to. Well, I can't. Yeah, I have no desire to subject myself to that. Is what it.
BRB UK bonus episode. We all watch Borderlands and give it a review.
Get really drunk.
Coming soon to our non-existent Patreon.
Yes.
Yes. And moving on. So the Evil Dead the game, I covered that on this show when that first launched back in 2023. And this was one I was excited for because I love the Evil Dead franchise. And there have been a couple of games that have been spin-offs to the movies initially to try and act as sort of spiritual sequel type things. But they've since then they're not part of the canon anymore. So I got excited about a new game, but unfortunately it was one of those, one person plays as the bad guy, everyone plays as the good guys, and then you just go and I'm not a big fan of those games. They've made way too many too quickly, and it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it's the Evil Dead, it's Predator, Friday the 13th. There's so many of the blooming things now, and they all seem to get pulled really, really quickly. And that's the same for Evil Dead the game. So 2022 it came out initially, and now it's been pulled from sale. You can still play it if you own the game. You can still get online. The servers are up, but you can't buy a new copy of that game anymore, which means it's probably going into maintenance mode, and we won't hear anything else from it for some time.
Well, I would say the servers remain online * for the minute, I would say.
Yeah, there was a planned Switch version as well that was meant to come out in 2023, along with the Game of the Year edition, but that was cancelled. It's a shame because it's actually a solid game. It plays really well. There is some single player stuff you can do. It's not that fun if you're not playing with other people, because that is the appeal of these games. But it played well. Netcode was great. It was a solid game. But I've had enough of these.
So why?
And I think the internet has.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, do you think it just had its day in the sun and it was just kind of natural to just start turning the lights off, so to speak, rather than there actually much. Being any major shortcomings with the game itself? I don't think it would.
I think because of the nature of these games, like they are born with very limited, dedicated but limited player bases, and if they're not big enough, then it's just not worth keeping it going. And a lot of these bases as well, you buy the game, but these games they're not a £70 RRP or a 60 or whatever. They're usually like 25, 35 pounds. And the idea is we can sell you cosmetics, we can sell you the microtransactions. And if there isn't a big enough player base to keep that going, then it's okay, stick it in maintenance mode, put it down to one server, like, put it on a shelf somewhere. We'll come back to it maybe. We won't.
Yes, we'll definitely think about doing something with it. Yes, we'll think about it.
It's on a shelf of Avengers and Suicide Squad right now.
Wow. Coleman's shelf of sad is what it is.
Avengers had a pretty good innings, to be fair. I really enjoyed playing that game. I might go back and try for the platinum. It's just a lot of work to get that platinum.
Yeah.
It's doing the hive bases something like 10 times. I really liked that game.
Poor Avengers.
It was the poor man's destiny, and I was the poor man.
Destiny's the poor man's destiny now. So
I will say, like, after all the stick I got from it, me, Bleezy, who was it? It was me, Bleezy, Tim, and I think someone else from our community all jumped on, and we played for like a solid evening together. And it was a lot of fun mucking around. Yeah,
I mean, Destiny in its heyday could be like that. Now it's just a bit of a toxic grind fest, sadly. So that is a very green bit of juice you're drinking.
That's a Mogu Mogu melon flavor. It's one of my girlfriend's, but I fancied a cold drink, so I stole it.
And now you have evidence of the crime, so you can hold that over.
I will replace it before she comes over next. Last bit of news, and this one affects me, because 2 weeks ago I was bragging to Tim about this amazing deal I got on Lost Soul. Lost Soul Aside, coming to PS5 May the 30th. And the reason I bought this instead of buying Death Stranding 2 was it was coming out earlier. It's been pushed back to August 29th.
Oh dear, Coleman.
But I've already put my money down. So in August 29th, I'm going to have a lovely little surprise when that turns up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, I forgot about this. What was this? What's this? I forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, so this is from the initially. Sorry, go on.
For it. No,
so this from. Have we got a delay?
I think I'm still on Wi-Fi, so it's probably right.
Okay.
You go.
So this from solo developer Yang Bing, who I believe's now got a team behind them, but this is the one that looks like it's a mixture of Final Fantasy, modern Final Fantasy, and Devil May Cry. It's hack and slash. It looks very JRPG at the same time. If it plays half as good as it looks in the trailers, I will be impressed, because it just looks unbelievable to me. Amazing. And this is a PS5 exclusive. I think it's also coming to PC the same time. Don't hold me to that. I know it's definitely PS5 August 29th. They need more time for polish to give it the attention to detail it deserves, apparently.
Well, if it's only one guy with a polishing cloth, it's going to take a while, isn't it? So
I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully.
Although I think it's going to... I think it's going to be a very busy second half of the year. I think it's going to be pretty full on with game releases, I think. So we'll see. See if it gets looking. But at least they've got one order in the bag, and that's for you, Coleman. So well done, you.
That's it. And Death Stranding 2 is coming this year, so I'm going to be busy.
You're going to be a busy, busy boy.
I put hundreds of hours into the first Death Stranding, so Death Stranding 2, I'm going to be very busy on that one.
Should we wrap this sucker up? I think we've run out of news. We have run out of news, and I need to get back to playing Clair Obscur before Mrs. G turns up and requires a car to pick her up. Oh, and I need to go and vote today. That's what I also need to do, to go and elect the next Lord of Nimby Shire in Welwyn Garden City because it's local elections, and frankly, no one gives a monkeys. But before I go off and exercise my democratic right to pick a random name that isn't a Conservative or Reform UK candidate, put next to them, I should really close out the show. So, things with my face. They're pretty great. You should buy things with my face. You can achieve this lifelong dream of yours by going to tpublic.com/store/BRB. Buy things with my face on it. That's right. You sat there right now. Buy things, my face, your... Oh, I'm not going to say anymore because it's going to sound really creepy, but my face could be on you.
My face will be on you.
My face will be on you.
My face will be on you.
Will be on you.
That sounds like a tagline for Dan's T-shirt, the horror movie.
Yeah. So I can.
My face will be on you.
My face will be
perfect.
Lovely.
Terra Masalata.
So that's it. tpublic.com/store/BRB. Tabletop Tuesday is apparently not. Is it happening? Is it not happening? I don't know. Is it happening? It's blank on the agenda.
Tabletop Tuesday, that was off last week, but I believe it's back this week. But Tim, in his infinite wisdom, did not fill it in on the agenda, so I don't know what the featured game is. But I will do the plug and say,
Tiddlywinks.
Yes, each and every Tuesday is a Tuesday, and that is why we call it Tabletop Tuesday, available at the Loading Bar in Stoke, Newington. That is the Big Red Barrel night of table topping, where you go down to the Loading Bar, you play games, you generally have good fun with good old time with people. You can go with friends and play with friends. You can go on your own and join in with groups. It's a good social event to be at, and free entry. Although it is a bar, don't be a dick. Buy a drink. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. Just, or food. They do food now. There's usually depending if it's a special night, it's a featured game. If you play the featured game, you get entered into a raffle. At the end of the night, if your name gets drawn, you take the game home. That is not bad for could go in, buy a drink. You nurse that Guinness all night long, as young Coleman used to. You nurse that Guinness all like because it's your first time buying a pint. And you've gone, I'll have a Guinness because that's a name I know. And then you take a sip and you go, bleh. So you just very casually drink it all night long. Is
this a little kind of insight into what 16-year-old Coleman put up with in his first drinking experience?
It's exactly what 16-year-old Coleman did in his first... Sorry, 18-year-old Coleman did on his first trip to the bar on his own.
Yeah, you tend to pick random drinks when you may be drinking at an early stage. Advocar was my first experience, and that was terrible.
Pint, please.
Yeah, I'll have a shot of Advocar. What? Yeah.
Weird. I love Guinness now. Right. Anyway, sorry. Tabletop Tuesday. You can find more information on bigredbarrel.com, or you can go to meetup.com/table-top-Tuesdays, or just Google Tabletop Tuesdays meetup.com. It will appear.
Marvelous.
Very good. And if you've enjoyed this show, you've got weird taste, but we love you all the same. Be sure to check out more information, more stuff, more things available at bigredbarrel.com. That's the website where we host this here podcast.
Yeah, we do.
And other podcasts, although they're not as numerous as they used to be, along with articles.
And bus, why don't you?
Jesus. I know. And videos, articles, everything, all like that. But also links to our socials. You can find, you got your X and your Facebooks and your Instagrams, all those kind of things. But what we really like you to do is go over to our Discord. Woo! Go to Discord, ask us questions, talk to us. I mean, there's a nice bit of chatter going on this week. We were talking about the ending of the game about digging a hole. Disappointment of the ending of the game about digging a hole. I really like the ending of the game about digging a hole, Dan. I don't know about you. I don't know if you got to the ending.
I haven't got to the end yet. I'm assuming that you've finished digging a hole and people are like, I want to dig yet more holes. Where is my hole?
It's a sinister ending and I really like it. But also, Kev was sharing his thoughts on Clair Obscur, saying he's not gelled with a game like this since Baldur's Gate 3. Ah, damn it. Baldur's Gate 3. I should have said that. Favorite RPG since Baldur's Gate 3. There you go. Sorry, Kev. You made me remember. Go to Discord and you can also ask us questions, much like surprise, it's Joke Sound, and we call him It's Ed. He says,
Eddie boy. Mm.
oh, and by the way, Tim was right last week. We did definitely read the same question 2 weeks running. It was my fault. I didn't remove it from the agenda. And Ed wrote 3 very similar questions, and I mixed one of them up twice. So, my fault. Ed says, if you were trapped in a game, what game did you play recently where you'd be most likely to survive? And what game you played recently where you die within a minute? Clair Obscur, Expédition 33. I think that's the one where I would die very soon into the game. And I guess the last game before that was Oblivion, which I could probably survive because I'll just go into the village and sit in a tavern and sup my ale. That I'm going, yeah, I don't like the taste of this, but I'm too embarrassed to tell them I want to do.
Why do I always buy Guinness as my first drinking experience? Why? I learned nothing. Nothing. I learned nothing. Idiot.
It'd probably be mead, and I quite like mead, so.
That's a very hipster drink, to be honest with you.
It's a very Eastern European drink where I had the drink and got really into it.
Right.
Bit of mead. Nice bit of mead. What about you, Dan?
What game did I play recently, Robbie? Moves like so. Probably Blueprints, because it's very difficult to die, and I'm quite good at wandering into rooms and forgetting why I went into that room, and so basically it would just be like life as art. In terms of a game that I played recently where I would die within a minute, probably many games. I'm going to pick on the Katamari remake that I've been playing. That's available on the phones, and I would be that poor little NPC trundling along, minding his own business until boom, massive green dude and little green dude, big old
little
ball,
green
and
dude.
I'd be on that ball. Very little green dude. I'll be on that ball. My life would be over, but at least I would make a beautiful, beautiful star, and it'll be okay.
You are a star, Dan.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Such a good set of tunes. Anyway, that's something I can rant on.
You remember the times of Xbox 360 where you could stream music from your PC? Now it's just Spotify, but you could stream music that was stored on your PC and just interlace it over the game's soundtrack. I played the Katamari Damacy soundtrack over Halo 3.
Nice.
My housemate coming in, there's me like doing the end mission and blasting aliens, going na 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 na. My old housemate Neil walks in, he's like, "You make developers cry," and then walked off.
At least it wasn't Gears of War.
I think the best one on the same kind of it was Assassin's Creed 2. And I was playing, there's the Vitamin String Quartet. They do covers of like rock tunes and pop tunes and things, but with a string quartet. And it's very, very good. And it seemed very in-theming to Assassin's Creed 2. And my other housemate came home, very drunk, passed out on the sofa, opened his eyes slightly and went, "Is this Muse? Sounds like Muse." And then went back to sleep. So I missed that feature. I don't have Spotify.
No. It's something about inappropriate soundtracks, like playing something like Mike Flowers' Pops doing Wonderwall, overlaying it on like the suicide mission in Mass Effect 2, where it's meant to be kind of a deeply emotional experience. And instead of going, ba-da-da-dum, bum, ba-dum.
And remember, no Russian. Ooh, stick you, your mama too, and your daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
The best bit about that is you could use it for wrestling, and you could use your own theme tunes, which was great because you could update wrestler theme tunes and stuff. It'd all be local, but it was cool nonetheless. But you could use funny soundtracks for stuff. It was great. Anyway, that's a little trip down memory lane. Something that I've missed for a long time.
You're welcome, Coleman. You're most welcome. So I think that's it for a show. We're going to trundle off shuffle off into the sunset as we tend to do at this time on a Thursday. And we should be back in some shape or form next week. Thank you so much for listening, for downloading us, for coming along for the live stream. If indeed anyone is here, they might be. I don't know. Hopefully Tim will not be doing all of the football again next week. So
Footballs.
he shall he shall return. So
All
that's
them feet.
pretty much it. All that's really left for me to do for this week is to remind you that I have been Dan.
I've been jangling coins this entire show.
You absolute helmet. You utter helmet. And
Sounds
no
about
one's
right.
been Tim. Yeah, and no one's been Tim, nor should they be, quite frankly.
You wouldn't
Ruiners
be a Tim.
of perfectly decent audio tracks since 1978. So yes, thank you, one and all, once again. We'll be back soon. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
Clair obscur, trouveras effet. Clair obscur, dans les hauts peintures, trouveras sans aide. Clair obscur, trouveras effet. Clair obscur, dans les hauts peintures, trouveras sans aide.
You and your ears are quite welcome.
For the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
To BigRedBarrel.com.
for more podcasts?
News, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet. BigRedBarrel.com.
Starfield, when that came out, a lot of people were complaining about Bethesda jank still being a thing. And then it takes for a remake of Oblivion to come out. And now all those reviewers, they're now kind of looking back with rose-tinted glasses at
I
Bethesda
love it,
jank. They're like,
jank.